Hello everyone, let's talk about emphysema. So emphysema is an obstructive respiratory disorder along with asthma and chronic bronchitis. In obstructive respiratory disorders, expiration is tremendously difficult, right? So how does emphysema develop? It's generally the culmination of chronic smoking. And certain important things to know is that emphysema literally means trapped or excessive air. And in a chronic smoker, the pulmonary epithelium over a period of years is damaged because of irritants in the smoke. For example, the nicotine causes partial paralysis of the cilia. There is also inhibition of alveolar macrophages, and the irritants cause excess mucus production. All of these also lead to the development of chronic infection because the pulmonary epithelium's natural protective mechanisms are deranged. For example, the accumulated mucus is breeding ground for bacteria, and the mucus that is normally removed from the passages by the cilia cannot be removed because of the paralyzed cilia, and also there is excessive production of mucus. So this mucus also forms mucus plugs, and the infection leads to inflammatory edema, which also causes obstruction of the smaller airways, and this is the obstructive part of this process, right? And because of this obstruction, why is expiration tremendously difficult? Because during expiration, pressure is exerted on the outside of the alveoli in order to empty them, but they're also exerted on the bronchioles and they end up collapsing. So expiration is tremendously difficult, and so a lot of air manages to be entrapped within the lungs, and because of too much air, the alveolar walls they end up breaking down. So we have both bronchial obstruction and a decrease in the surface area. Now there is a huge spectrum of ventilation perfusion abnormalities because the bronchioles supplying certain areas of the lungs will be more obstructive compared to the rest. So the ventilation over there will be really bad, and so the ventilation perfusion ratio will be very low. In other areas, ventilation will be quite okay, but because of the alveolar wall destructive process, most of the intimately located pulmonary capillaries are ruptured, and so while ventilation is okay, this is very less, and this leads to an extremely high, above the ideal value of ratio, and both of these tend to be bad, right? And this means that the lungs are not being as effective as they should be as gas exchange organs. And also because of the rupture of the pulmonary capillaries, pulmonary hypertension develops because there's an increase in the pulmonary resistance. The more capillaries in parallel, the less the resistance, the less the number, the more the resistance. That's basically all of the important stuff. If you like, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment.